So I didn't think it was even possible for an average or below average runner to run negative splits in a marathon. Yet, here we are. So it's just over 1 week now since the best race that I have ever run. Hopefully you had a chance to watch Moments, a New York City Marathon story, which paints a pretty vivid picture of the ups and downs of my 2021 New York City Marathon. Definitely worth a watch. Several folks have already told me it brought tears to their eyes, and it really takes you through that marathon experience. But this video, though, really is less about the experience and more about, well, the numbers. Looking at the execution of my race plan. And I gotta say, I think it went pretty well. Let's start with the goal. A new marathon PR at 5 hours or less. Well, ran the race, came in at 4:55:44. As I mentioned, I ran negative splits, but here's another fun graphic from New York Road Runners. And you can see I started off slow, hit my average pace in the middle, and then cranked it at the end. That last mile, in fact, was the fastest mile of the entire race, which just blows my mind because every other race I've run, it's been the opposite. Where, at the end, you're just hanging on for dear life. Well, there was never that moment in this race. In fact, I would say that this was a marathon without suffering. There was never that, why did I sign up for this moment? I was too busy just enjoying the race and taking everything in. It's wild. Another thing that was different and really helpful in this race was running alongside someone with the same goal as me. Jenny, as you know from the race video, was just absolutely amazing. And I think there's something to be said about how the presence of another person can keep you from acting on your own worst impulses. It's very easy when you're feeling good to start doing things that you pay for later with interest. But for most of the race, Jenny and I, we were keeping each other in check. In fact, we actually ran the 13.1 mile split at almost exactly half of the 5 hour goal. Now here's a clip from the race that didn't make the Moments video, but I want to share it because it gives you a sense of just how good I was feeling on race day. This is right after we hit 13.1 miles.
As I passed marathons, at this point I was like, oh gosh, just halfway to go.
Yeah.
Right now I'm kind of feeling like I'm sad this is half done.
Really?
Yeah. No, seriously, I'm not even kidding.
That's awesome.
This has been fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm definitely glad.
You're glad? You're glad we're halfway there? Okay.
I'm glad.
Just to be clear, I realized that I sounded like a crazy person as I listen to myself now, after the fact, but I was just feeling really good. I think physical training and preparation was a big part of it, but I don't think you can downplay how big of a role mindset played in everything. While I went in with that time goal, that was secondary to my primary goal of having fun, which meant I got to be totally relaxed and even silly during the race.
Tap here to power up. Bam! Bam!
Never before have I allowed myself to intentionally slow down in a race just for the purpose of dancing with spectators or high-fiving kids. Did that cost me some time? Sure. But who cares? It was fun. And I would argue that some of the energy that I expended came back to me twofold. It's also part of the reason why the bridges, I think, are so challenging in the New York City Marathon, because those are the spots when you don't have the big crowds to amp you up and to push you through. Now, speaking of bridges, got to talk about the Queensboro Bridge, because that was a spot I specifically talked to you about, spent time training for, and thinking about. I have to say, all the prep work made it feel incredibly manageable. And think about this. This is a bridge that has broken me down twice before, but it felt almost like a non-factor. Again, mind blown. Anyway, just a really great race for me. Even the little things worked well. My shoes, which were carbon plated, actually were really comfortable and cushy. My feet never hurt, which actually is a first for me in a marathon as well. Also, my hydration and nutrition plan, which included my Twizzlers and my kosher salt, it worked amazingly well. And there will be a video to come about that, and it's going to include all kinds of math and formulas and be really nerdy, and oh, I can't wait to tell it. And look, I was able to keep my cramping at bay, and that was, again, a first. So it's weird saying all this stuff because it does feel kind of braggy, and that's not the point. Because look, I'm still very much a slow, below average runner. I'm under no delusions here. But I think it's worth pointing out to everybody who might want to run a marathon, especially people like me who are a little bit slower, a little bit whatever. It doesn't have to be brutal. It does not have to be miserable. It can be a lot of fun. And you can have wins. Wins that you can celebrate like I'm celebrating now. So I hope you got something from this video. Obviously, there's more to come. And hopefully your runs are going well.